Hey, welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner and Photography Weekly. This is episode number 74 for Sunday, January the 6th, 2012. Hey, Happy New Year's to everybody out there. It's so great to be back with you for another year. 2013 is going to be a bang-up year, I think, more so than even 2012. Sure, we're going to learn together, and I'm sure there's going to be even more innovative stuff coming along with photography that we're going to be working with. So what's in store for you today? What are we going to learn about? Well, we're going to be talking about white balance and shooting snow. Now, ordinarily, when you take your camera out and it's set to auto and you take that picture of snow, the camera tries to take all that white and turn it into kind of a gray overtone look. I'm going to show you how to correct that today, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Also, how do we correct white balance once we get those pictures back into Lightroom? That's all going to come together with this show. And if you don't have Lightroom, stick around because I know you guys are shooting in Camera Raw, and I'm also going to show you how to correct white balance in Adobe Raw. It's really easy and it's really, really great how that works. Then I know a lot of you got new computers for Christmas. Congratulations, and I'm sure that's going to be working out really great for you. And if not, you're going to be buying them, and you're going to be buying them with Windows 8. Well, I've been playing around with Windows 8 a little bit, trying to learn it myself for my job. And I've also been putting together some different little tutorials online about Windows 8. So today I'm going to show you a free photo editor that I came across that works really nice. If you're using Windows 8, you can start using that today. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started this week with episode number 74. Okay, very good. Now we can go with our official shout-outs this morning. And then we're going to touch base a little bit. I told a couple of you folks here earlier what happened last week, but we're going to go over that in just a minute. So good morning to you, Cheryl. Good morning, Dina. Good morning, Flyer here. Jake the Snake. Jessica. Jody. Kathy. Mike JP. And Vicky. Good morning to everybody out there. I'm glad to see you. If you're not in the chat room, please come over to jackstechcorner.com. Click on the live show, and there's a little link at the bottom of the player that says pop out chat. Click on that link, and then you can also come over and you can talk with us in the chat room. The chat room is what makes these live shows better because it's the interaction part with you folks out there. Now, with that said, what happened last week? Man, I tell you what. Last week I had this brilliant idea. I told Mrs. Jack, I said, look, I'm going to take the camera, sling it on my shoulder, take my tripod. I'm getting in the truck because it snowed here. I mean, it snowed heavy. And I said, I'm going to go out and take some pictures and do some filming to do a segment for the show tomorrow. And she goes, that's a wonderful idea, Jack. Go ahead, hit the road. And I said, great. She said, just be careful. Don't get stuck. And I said, that's okay. So I loaded up the truck. I threw everything in there I needed, and I took off and I headed out to do this video segment. And video segment worked great. Came back home. I did the hour or so editing I had to do to put it together for the show. And then I found out the next morning I woke up and I was so sick. I was stuffed up. My eyes were watering. I was sneezing and coughing, and there was no way. I mean, I waited until as long as I possibly could to tell you guys there was no show because I thought I would get better. Let me tell you, wild turkey with honey in it is very, very good for a sore throat, but it doesn't knock the cough out. I took like 3 shots that morning thinking, hey, I'll be on the air. I'm going to make it for you guys. But there was just no possible way. So that's okay because now it brought me into the segment this week, and it's going to allow me to bring that to you this week. And that's where we're getting into this whole talk today about white balance. And what is white balance and how do we use the equipment to get a proper white balance. And you're going to see in the video, we talk about this. It's 18% gray card. I talked to you about this thing. We take it out on a shoot. I'm going to show you how that's used today. So we're going to use that, and then we're going to go back, as I said, into Lightroom. I'm going to show you in Lightroom how you can use the gray card to get a better white balance and to make that snow look more white and crisp, as well as all your other colors. You can also use this in studio the exact same way. And I've been trying to get Mrs. Jack up here to do some studio filming, but we have not got that accomplished at this point. So we're just going to go ahead and use the outside footage that I have. So with that said, I want you to kick back, grab a cup of coffee, make this full screen, relax, and watch this video. I think it's about maybe 9 minutes, but it should keep you entertained. And when we come back, we're going to be seeing how to take the pictures I shot during this video and adjust the white balance. So let's go ahead and get started on the video now. Hi guys, we're going to see how this video comes out. I'm using the microphone on this camera here, this is the D7000 I'm filming with. We're setting out today to shoot some pictures in the snow. Obviously, as I was telling you here, this is a live show. And what we're going to do today though is I'm going to show you that you can use your gray card. And if you don't have a gray card, pick one up. You get these things off of eBay pretty cheap. I mean, probably about $3. It's supposed to be a neutral gray card. It says it's 18% gray. And we're going to show you today, we're going to use this to shoot some pictures with it. And we're going to use it, we can set a custom white balance in the camera, or we're going to show you how you can use it and take a shot of this card and use that in Lightroom. So we can use this card, pick this as our natural white in Lightroom, and it'll set our white balance for us on all of our pictures. Now, I will be shooting in RAW today, we'll be shooting in manual mode, and we're going to be getting in the truck here and taking a ride. And I'll try to do some footage too when we get to the location where we're going. So let's go ahead and pack up and we're going to get out of here. Okay, I don't know how this is going to turn out or if you can even hear me. This is the scene that we'll be shooting right here. Let me go into wide angle mode here. This is the scene we're going to be shooting here. And this is our gray card right here. You can see that. I just simply put the gray card up in the tree. Let me turn this focus mode here on single. I just put the gray card up in the tree right there. And what we're going to do now is we'll take a shot of that card. It just has to be in the natural lighting. So whatever lighting you're using for your scene is how this has to be. Okay, as you can see on this first one, this is a shot of the gray card. This shot is immediately after I shot the gray card because now I know that I have my white balance ready. This is another picture of that same scene. And this last picture is also just a picture a little bit wider. So let's go ahead and move on to video. I just kind of wanted to show you some of the roads that I'm traveling on today to try to bring you this video. How to use your gray card when shooting snow. I'm on a road right now that I don't think I would travel ordinarily. But it said it's a covered bridge road. So I think that's taking me to the covered bridge that we've used before in a lot of our videos, a lot of our shoots. So that's where I'm kind of going this way. So forgive me for the camera movement here. But definitely a beautiful scenery today though, driving around out here. Just have to negotiate these roads and make sure that I don't get stuck. Because Mrs. Jack said, please don't go out and get stuck because she didn't want to bring the car out to try to find me. Okay, so we are pressing on here and we're going to find the covered bridge. I see the cows are all out eating, so they're all happy it's snowing. They really don't care. Alright, let's move on here, and we are looking for the covered bridge. I should see it hopefully soon. It said this road was 3 miles. It's pretty devastating 3 miles though. It's been taking quite a while to drive this. I mean, you can see the scenery here we're going into. It's really beautiful, but there's not a whole lot of places to park the truck to get pictures either. So we're moving on. And sure enough, there's the covered bridge coming up right in front of us. You can see it. After me and Zach has done, we've done videos from here before. I've done some testing on my wide angle lenses down here, this covered bridge. And it looks like there's a plow truck. There's never a plow truck, like I said, until I go to do a video. Then there's plow trucks all over the place. Alright, let me get set up down here. We take some shots, I think, maybe of the covered bridge. And we'll see how this works out for us. So, let's get parked here somewhere and get moving. Okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to get any shots of the covered bridge up here. The plow truck is just plowing, and it's not going to let me come up here and get in here. I'm trying to get some light in here so you can see me with all this backlighting. It's hard to see me, but yeah, the snowplow's up there, and I don't think I can switch his camera over either to show you, but I don't think he's leaving anytime soon, so we might have to try to get around him here and depart from this area. Looks like the covered bridge is pretty snowed in, and he's trying to dig it out. I wanted to show you the snowplow here. I think he's going to let me out. We're going to try to get out of here. Maybe. He's putting his plow down again. Alright, I think we're going to get out of here. Here's some more really bad roads. The snowplow did leave me around them. Here's some really bad roads out here that, holy crap, the truck's sliding all over. It's like they haven't even touched these roads. Get back in four-wheel drive here. Just leave it in low lock, or high lock actually. But yeah, the roads are really bad out here. You can see they haven't even really plowed. Maybe once last night it looks like. You can see the kind of stuff I wanted to shoot today, but I just can't find a safe place to park the truck. There's a park down here. We're gonna take a look down here and see what's down here. See if I can't get out and get some pictures. I'll show you a little bit more at the gray card. It's beautiful scenery though. We are getting that. And I'm sorry we're not doing more shooting here, but I wanted to bring you some more in this video. So, for our show today. So this is kind of what we're looking at. This is kind of the way I drive home from work every day. So, it's pretty cool, but it usually doesn't look like this. And I don't know who's responsible out there for these particular roads. Could be the state. But not really sure. So, okay. So yeah, motivating anyway, and trying to get around here, and looking for some places to take some pictures. It's kind of crazy. Can't really go to the park either. It's pretty much snowed in. I mean, I can't even really see where the road's at. Yeah, not really. I don't think it looks very promising down there either. That's the park, so I don't know if it doesn't look very promising. Alright, so we are going to keep motivating. I'm going to try to find some more places to shoot some pictures, and hopefully we'll be back here with some more video for you. So what do we do if we don't have anybody to hold our gray card? We have obviously shooting in this field. We have no trees or anything. As you can see, I took my tripod. I just set it up and I just stuck the card in the side of the tripod so I can get a couple shots of it there. Just to set my white balance. Again, we're going to do this in Lightroom. It's very cold out here. I'm on top of this ridge and it's freezing. Got snow blowing all around me. If you can see here, this is the ridge I'm on. Maybe you can see the snow blowing. It's hard to see here. But anyway, we're going to take a shot of this gray card, and then we'll take some shots up here and see if we can't white balance our camera. Okay, here's the first shot, obviously. You don't have to fill the frame with the gray card. We just have to make sure the gray card, the picture is taken in the same light that we're shooting with. Now, here's a series of shots that I did after shooting that gray card on the tripod. It's just another angle here. I get down a little bit lower. Again, this is just to get some footage here, some shots for you guys that we're going to be working with here in Lightroom in just a few minutes. First, I wanted to show you about, I wanted to take you out on the shoot, and then we'll go into Lightroom and show you the editing part of this with that gray card. Is what we wanted to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on with the closing here. Okay, folks. Okay, I hope this video came out okay. If you can see me here or not on this side, see how this works out. Looks like I'm in the lens there, so. Anyway, so we're done out here in the snow. We're going to go back and put this video together. Hopefully it turned out okay. You can let me know here through the chat room of this live class today. And let me know how everything's going. So we're going to pack the truck up and we're going to get out of here. So I'll see you back in the studio. And then this is kind of funny here because I don't know if you guys ever watched Where is, oh. If you guys ever watch Survivor, you know, when he gets on that helicopter at the end, he flies out. It was kind of like me, like, okay, now we'll see you back in the studio. Look, now I'm back here live. So there you have it. So I hope you've enjoyed that little video training there. It was the only way I could think of doing something by myself for you guys to get out there and show you some ways to shoot. And it didn't work out too bad. I think it came along okay. And now we're going to do this. We're going to use those pictures from that shoot, and we're going to actually show you how to adjust using, you've seen the gray card that I shot with out there. And as I said in the video, you could find these. I probably got this thing off of eBay for about $3. Probably with free shipping. It just comes into your post office box. And all it is, actually, if you get a closer look there, it's a piece of cardboard is all it is. And it's 18% gray. If you can see the back of it there. You can see that pretty well. 18% gray card. And it just allows your camera to take a picture of something here. And if you do fill your frame with this, there is one word of advice. Take your autofocus off, because you'll never focus on this. Unless there's a spot on it, but there's nothing on it. So the camera can't focus. So take your autofocus off. Focus the best you can manually and take a shot if you take that way. So if you use this in your studio, it's exactly the same way. And that's what I was going to do here with Mrs. Jack. We're going to do some studio shooting. And don't shoot in the plastic either. Take it out of the plastic. But in the studio, you just have the person hold it. And the only thing I can give you advice-wise in the studio is if you're doing natural lighting, like through a window or just a light in the room, the available light, like the overhead lights here today, then this is fine to shoot it this way. Or if you need, if you put a flash on or if you put the soft boxes on, take another picture with this. Because remember, white balance is based on light, available light. So your lighting is going to change, so make sure you take another gray card reading. And I'm going to show you in Lightroom and Photoshop how that works. So if there's any questions, throw those in the chat room. Please bring them in the chat room. Jake the Snake just said, how do you keep the setting once you shoot for the 18% gray card? Okay, Jake, this is a little bit different today. It's a great question. And you can, and that could be another class, actually. We can talk about that. But there's so many different cameras out there, so I didn't want to get into how you set your camera, because you can set the camera for a custom white balance shooting. This is my D7000, and the way it works is I set it to custom white balance. I take a shot of that gray card, and then once I have the reading in there, it'll tell me if it's good or not. So it read it, it'll say it's good. Once it says it's good, then I can take another shot, and I store that picture. That's my white balance I want to keep for that series of shots, is what that white balance setting would be. But today I wanted to show you how the software will do it for us. So that way it doesn't matter. This is a very camera independent class today. The only thing I want to talk to you about today is you have to shoot, for what I'm teaching, shoot it in camera raw. Okay, don't shoot it in JPEG because it's not going to work the same. So shoot it in camera raw, and we're going to go there. So definitely, Jake, later on. And I know you have I think you have a D7000 also, and then you have a D700, I believe. That's what Jake the Snake shoots there. So the D7000 I can help you with. We can do that one time. But I just don't, yes, okay. I just don't have all the cameras for everybody, like the Canons and everything. So that would be something I have to look into. All right. Now, with that said, we are going to go ahead, and I'm going to move some screens around here. And get some stuff here prepared. Hold on one second there. We got a bunch of noise coming up here. All right. So anyway, I was just telling them downstairs to keep it down. Actually, they're way too loud. I don't know why people have to use their outside voices inside. That's really a bad thing to do. We're going to bring this camera up here for a few minutes. There we go. All right. So let me just move this stuff around a little bit here. and we're going to start into our tutorial. Just looking to see here if there's any other questions. All right. So like I said, even if you don't have Lightroom, that's okay. Don't worry about that, because I'm also going to show you how to do this in Photoshop Elements. Today I am using Elements 11, but you know, it's going to work out for you just the same, pretty much any version that you're using, because you have to use Camera Raw. That's what we're looking at using today's Camera Raw. So we're going to go over this and have a peek here. All right. Let's get my desktop up here. All right, so it's on the iMac. Let's make sure that you guys can see this. If you want to go full screen, now's probably a good time to do that. And then we can talk about these. We'll get rid of that thing there. Really don't need that anymore. We're going to move me over here just a little bit, right about there. Okay. Now with that said, we also have to get this desktop resized here, because we need the photo bin on the bottom. This is also very important. Again, now this first little tutorial is using Lightroom, is how this works. So that's what we're going to work with first of all. Now let me get situated here. Get this pulled down a little bit. And we will get this started. All right. Now, so here's those shots that we took out on the road. And I know it wasn't a lot, but I tell you what, it was so cold that I could barely stand to be out there shooting anyway. But for the good of the show and you guys, it was well worth it. Now, we're going to bring up the first one here in the tree. That's what I'm going to bring up. Now, you see I got 3. Let's bring up the very first one. We're going to go into our developer module of Lightroom. And once we get into that developer module of Lightroom, and we actually will drop me out of there for right now so I can show you how this works. What you're going to do is, this is our actual picture. This is the exact way I shot it. And what I talked to you about during the video was, when you shoot this stuff, and I don't know if I said natural lighting or I should have said available lighting, the gray card has to be put into the same light that you're currently using for that picture. So like Jake asked earlier, or I said earlier about the studio shooting. So if it's a studio shot, if you're shooting outdoors, if you're shooting in the shade and you want to use this gray card, have the person hold the gray card or put the gray card into that shot using that available light, because white balance is based on light, and we know that from previous lessons. So here's what we're going to do. We didn't save our white balance settings in the camera at all. That's why we didn't talk about that. But we're going to come in the software. We're going to come over here and click on our eyedropper. And what we're going to do now is we need to pick up that white balance selector. What do we want to use for white balance? Now, in Lightroom, Photoshop, everything you're going to use can use either white or a dark or a neutral gray color. Here's our neutral gray, because we know we stuck it in a tree. And hopefully this comes across on the video. Watch the coloring around the snow and everything. You can automatically see a change. You see how everything brightened up? The color of the actual tree is the actual color that the trees are out there. I mean, yeah, okay, they're dead, but you know what I'm saying? It's not a darker brown. That is the brown that they actually are. They actually were. Again, if I take this off, let me go to my developer settings down here. We'll reset it, so we'll take it off. And you can again see how that color kind of darkens down. It's not as, it doesn't jump at you. It doesn't make that tree feel like it's really even two-dimensional. So I'm going to click it, click on my gray card. And now I have the picture and it's nicely lit up and ready to go. Let's go ahead and do another one. But this time I'm going to do this third one in here, okay, for the essence of time, and showing you what needs to be done here. So, and Jessica, don't worry if you don't have Lightroom. I'm going to show you in a minute how to use Photoshop Elements to do this same little trick. You're going to love it. I know I did. It's like I stumbled across it because, you know, When I started doing these tutorials and stuff and work, I said, well, I got to be able to do this in the Elements, right? This has been an Elements class since day one, back in 2011. So I have to be able to teach that also. So let's do another one here. We're going to do this white balance. Now, here's the trick. Here's what happens, guys. So we're going to do this. We're going to white balance with our gray card. Okay. Now, go over here. You can work with all your other settings, your exposures, your highlights, your whites. If you want that snow to be whiter, just pull your whites up and you can actually make that snow even whiter. But you got to watch. You don't want to make that oversaturated, right? Because what's going to happen is going to start, right, blowing out. You don't want to actually do that. You don't want to get too much on there. We can drop the exposure even, and we can bring up the exposure. And I like to play with the blacks. I like to get the blacks back in there. All right. Just to give it more depth. All right. So there you go. So that is a really decent looking picture. Okay. Now, and I think I showed this before we were doing a tutorial on something, but I'm going to show you in Lightroom now how to take that white balance setting and we're going to share it with the other pictures. Because we know we took this picture right after we took that gray card setting, so we know the light and everything is the same. Click first on that first one, and then hold your control or your command key down. Click the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Once we do that, you're going to notice the button over here on the right changed to say sync. We're going to sync these three pictures with the settings from that first picture, the one we white balanced. Let's click on sync. And it's going to ask us, do we want white balance? Yes. Tone, saturations, pretty much we'll just leave that to be whatever that is, and we're going to synchronize. And what happened there is these pictures now all picked up the white balance settings from that first picture. And again, you can go in there and you can adjust things still. You can go in there and say, okay, that's great. I know my white balance is fine. It's set to custom because it picked that up. And now I can go and I can play with my other stuff. Like maybe I want the blacks to be deeper on this particular picture or whatever. There you go. So it's very, very simplistic. And hopefully, Jake, now that answered your question with instead of setting it in the camera, we're now setting it in the software. We're using that gray card and coming back and using that picture in our software. So here we go. We're going to go to this next set of pictures over here. And if you remember, this is the picture that I shot on the hillside where it was really, really cold out. We also have this one. So it doesn't matter which one you're using, either the close-up or the far one. And why? Why doesn't it matter? Does anybody realize? It doesn't matter because the gray card is in the same lighting situation as the other gray card. So it doesn't matter. One just fills the screen more. So we will use this one because I think you can see better on these blacks when I start playing with this one. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to click on the little eyedropper, come over. Now the white stuff on there, those marks, that's the snow coming across. So I'm just going to pick a neutral gray area and click on there. Automatically you can see the picture changes some light. The coloring changes a little bit and it pops. We'll go over here to our left. And now in this one, I'm going to drop the blacks down. Watch my tripod. I thought this was pretty amazing. Look at the tripod, how nice the black is there. It's a fully black tripod. I know that. So it was a nice thing to have in my picture to be able to do this adjustment with. And now I can bring up some of the whites and I can make it a little bit brighter and bring my snow up. But now that snow doesn't have that dirty gray look, right? It has the more white popping look. We'll prove that on this picture right here. See, this is the next picture I took. And you can see how that gray has sort of the gray, I mean the snow has sort of that gray look, the dirty look. This is in a field. Can't be real dirty. There's been nobody out there. That's why I walked through this field to find this shot for you. So again, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to sync up our shots. Now we got that white balance set. I have the first one clicked on here. Always make sure that the one you adjusted you have first. So you click on that one first. Then you hold your control, your command key down and click on a couple of the other ones there. Let's click on just those couple. And we're going to go ahead and click on sync. We're going to synchronize across those. And what just happened there was now you can see that it's actually brightened it up and there's more white snow in there. Again, now this is pushed out a little bit further. It's a little bit further away. There's a little bit more depth to this than what the gray card, like naturally you can't take that gray card all the way on the other hillside and get a shot of it, correct? So, but it's going to give you a great starting point, especially for this close-up stuff right around here. Right in here. This is really nice because it gives us a nice depth right there for that. So, that is how you use Lightroom in a nutshell with the 18% gray card. It works very, very well. Now, with that said, for all of my Photoshop Elements folks out there, I know there's many of you because we've been teaching Elements for a long time. And we are now going to go, and I'm going to take you into the world of Elements and Camera Raw. And I hope by now, I know you've been watching the show for a while, most of you out there, so I hope by now you are shooting in Camera Raw. If you don't know what that is, go through your manual and find it. And we are going to be demonstrating that probably as early as next week. I'm going to show you, I got some demonstrations for Camera Raw versus JPEG and why you'd want to do that. It just makes a really good idea. So let's quit Lightroom now. We're going to drop out of there. And once the Lightroom is gone, we are going to bring up our Adobe Elements Organizer. Now this is Elements 11, but I know it will work in 9 and 10. I'm not sure of any earlier versions. Please let me know if you have an earlier version in Facebook, if it worked or not. Okay, so now that we have this in our Camera Raw in Adobe Photoshop Elements 11, what we're going to do now is we're going to make our changes to where our gray card is. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll go and click on the eyedropper on the top of the toolbar here. And all we're going to do is bring that down, click on our gray card. And then we'll adjust our blacks down. We're going to adjust our blacks down here to 40. Let's say negative 40. We'll bring our whites up. And we'll bring our whites up to, let's say, plus 25. You can play with the exposures, drop the exposure down just a little bit or bring it up. No, let's bring it up a little bit to 15. Now, what we're going to do now that we have those settings done for that particular scene, we're going to go up to where it says Basic, click the pull-down menu, and click on right here where it says Save New Camera Raw Defaults. Now, when we do that, now we can go ahead and apply those default settings to our other pictures. So let's remember these settings. Minus 15, plus 25, and minus 40. Let's go ahead over on the left. We're going to click on the first picture here. And we'll go down to the bottom. We're going to hold our shift key down. We'll highlight them all. Now we're just going to simply click on the pull-down menu. And we'll just say it says Camera Raw Defaults. We'll just check on that again. And you're going to see where it instantly sets all of those pictures now to those actual settings we had. Minus 15, plus 25, and minus 40. Each one of those are now back to the custom white balance that we set on the top. And you do still have the option of going to the individual picture. And we can actually customize this even more. Maybe you want to bring the exposure up more because it's further out there. So we'll bring the exposure up a little bit more on that particular picture. And you can work your way down and do the other ones individually. So as you see, folks, it's very easy also to do this in Adobe Raw with your Photoshop Elements. So there's not a problem at all to do this. So let's go ahead on with this part of the lesson here now that you know how to do this. And we're going to take our short break and go into our sponsors' messages. And then I'll see you back here right after that to start talking about Windows 8. So I'll see you then. I'd like to thank you once again for watching Photography Weekly each and every week. And I wanted to say a special thank you and a little short commercial break here for our sponsors of this show. First and foremost, let me send out my special invitation to you there to come over to jackstechcorner.com. I have a brand new Elements 10 Volume 1 DVD, and it's going for $20. And if you pull this pull down menu down, you'll see a lot of other options in there for you also. Or if you'd rather, instead of learning on a DVD, and if you have high-speed internet, you may want to sign up for one of my online classes. The online classes are there for you, and they are on Lightroom 4 for all. It's a very easy way to learn Lightroom 4. And there is a Elements 10 class, actually the one on DVD, that will be coming out as a online class. So you will have actually that option also. Next, let me thank our friends over at SmugMug. SmugMug is where I do all my professional printing at, and I wish that you would sign up also. If you go to my website, jackstechcorner.com, on the left-hand side there's links. If you click on that link and enter the special code, you'll get a 20% discount. And that's huge because the Pro version is $150. So if you take 20% for that, you're going to be good to go. You save a ton of money and start making money right away. Or you can use them for all your personal printing needs for whatever type of photography printing you want to do. Next, if you do any green screen photography, then check out Ken's site, greenscreenwizard.com. Once again, go to my website, jackstechcorner.com, click on the link on the left, and that way Ken will know that you're coming from Jack's Tech Corner. Once again, that's greenscreenwizard.com for all your green screen photography and now video needs. And a special hello and thank you to our friends over at Amazon.com. If you're buying anything from Amazon, and man, don't we all buy from Amazon anyway? Go to my website, jackstechcorner.com. On the left again, click on the link to go to Amazon before you buy anything. That gives us like a 1% deal there of your total sell. So it helps the site out here, it helps us out, and it keeps it so we can buy new equipment to keep bringing you these great shows and keep on going. So if you're buying from Amazon, just go ahead and click that link and buy as you normally would. And I'd like to thank our HDR sponsors, HDR Soft and Photomatics. Photomatics does a great job. I'm using the Pro version now, Photomatics Pro 4.2, and the Lightroom plugin, and it is absolutely fantastic how it's integrated with Lightroom. So once again, that's Photomatics by HDR Soft, and you'll find those at hdrsoft.com. Download the trial version today. You won't be upset or disappointed. So that's it. Let's get back onto the show here and more learning. Okay, so this is Windows 8, and this is the start button, believe it or not. This is the actual start button. Watch, here's the desktop, right? Here's your desktop, just like you would have any normal desktop in Windows. And this is, if you put your mouse down here, the little start button comes up. This is the new start button. So that's how it works. What I wanted to show you first was, I thought was really cool, is in the store, if you click right here, they're trying to build themselves up to be much like Apple's what they're trying to do. So, you know, they want to be able to compete, I guess. So if you click on the store and you scroll your mouse, if your mouse has a wheel on it and scroll across, you're going to find these are applications you can buy in here. So let's go to Photo. And these are all different types of photo editors. You can even see that Photoshop, this is CS6 optimizing raw photos with the Adobe Raw, Adobe Camera Raw 7. That's actually like a book. That's not the actual program itself. But if you look through here, you can find a ton of stuff that you can use on your pictures. And then I even found out the pull down menu at the top, just to show you real quick. You click on free, and that's better yet, right? That's all the free stuff. So here's all the free apps. Now the free app that I want to introduce you to today, we go back through here, and we'll go back to our start button. The free app I want to show you today is called Photo Studio Free. Let's click on that. This is the actual app, and this is on Windows 8. You may be able to find it, and it may, in fact, work on Windows 7. I don't really know. Andy said it looks just like Windows Phone 7. You're exactly right. And also, it looks like their new Surface, the Windows Surface, which is kind of like an iPad, but it's running Windows. We're going to click on Browse. We're going to actually open up a picture. So let's click on Browse. And I thought this was nice. They all come up in a tile format where I can see them all, right? Just like an organizer would. And we're just going to pick out one of these. So we pick here, and I can't double click. I tried double clicking. I thought if I double click, I can edit, but I couldn't. As a single click, it gives it a checkbox. Go down, click on Open. And it's going to open it in our editor. Now this editor, like I said, it is not Photoshop, but it is very, very nice, and it works very, very well. Now, it works very well because down here at the bottom, you got all these different preset buttons you can use. You know, so if you're somebody, you said, I just want to adjust the brightness. If I click on brightness, I can just sit here and I can adjust the brightness up or down, the exposure, basically is what this is. Click on OK, and it affects my picture that quick. I looked at filters. I thought these filters are really cool. These filters are just different ways your picture can actually look. The one I really liked was this black and white down here, and it has that look, like a textured look on it. So if I click on that, what it does, it makes your picture look like it's old. You know, they get wrinkled up. It has that really, really neat look on there. You can undo that. So you can click here and click on undo. Go back to what you had before. Click on that. All right. You can do your cropping, your rotating. There is some frames in here. You click on that. You can put some very easy frames. Check these out. I mean, it's very nice, I have to say. For being free, it's not really that bad. Like I said, I just found by playing around through that store, there's a lot of them in there. I do ask if you find something in there that you really like, you know, share it with us. Put it on the Facebook wall. We can saturate this. Let's oversaturate the picture here and see what happens. Look at that, how we can oversaturate that picture, give it a whole new look. And again, it's a free editor. So what am I getting at here? Why did I want to show this to you? One, because it is Windows 8, and Windows 8 is coming. If you haven't noticed, walk through any of the big box stores and look at the laptops. They're all running Windows 8. Second, don't be scared away from Windows 8. And third, don't be afraid to try free photo editors out there. People build these things and take the time to make them for you to use them and play with them. So it's well worth it. And it's all based on sliders. So it's really cool. There you go. So there's some hue and saturation. Later, if you want to go back to the original, just click original, and you'll actually go right back to it. We'll have to go back a couple times because this is your history here. You have to go back to the original history and click on that one to go back to the actual picture itself. So there you go. To go back home, just click on the home button, and you're back home once again. Let's go back over here. We do have our my youngest stepdaughter, my wife's youngest daughter, moving into a college today. She just transferred schools. I guess people do that all the time. That's something people like to move around and try different schools out. So she's transferring, so we do have to get her moved in there today. That's very important. So I am going to get out of here, and I will say thanks to everybody out there for watching these videos. I'm glad you're here each and every week. And no, that's not going to work with the headphones on. But I appreciate you coming by, and I'm sure next week we're going to have some more talk around Adobe RAW and shooting RAW images, because I think that's so important if you understand. If your camera can shoot RAW, make sure you shoot RAW. If you don't have Lightroom, don't worry about it, because your other editors are doing very, very well, and you have to know what tools you're using. So, folks, I hope you have a great week this week, and I will see you back here next Sunday for another Photography Weekly. and Jack's Tech Corner. Once again, I hope you're having a great start and of a great new year. And I hope everything works out for you photography-wise, and hopefully maybe you even got some new gear and equipment for the holidays. So until next time, keep those shutters clicking, keep your editors editing, and I'll see you back here very soon on Jack's Tech Corner for another Photography Weekly. Bye for now.